An exclusive New York Post report unraveled into an obvious AIPAC smear against New York City mayoral frontrunner Zohran Mamdani after we took a closer look. More in a moment, but Cenk, are you surprised that the New York Post might have done some attacking of Zohran at the behest of potentially the Israeli lobby?
No, I'm not surprised. All right, guys, the most amazing part of this story is how pro-Israeli forces, lobbies, etc., groups in this country have been buying off minority groups, creating minority groups, pretending that they speak for black people or in other minority groups, when in reality, they're all doing it for Israel. It's an amazing story, accidentally revealed by the New York Post.
So last Wednesday, the Post published this sensational piece. Zohran Mamdani, Democratic Socialists' agenda is bad for black New Yorkers, advocacy group says. And according to the report, this advocacy group launched a last-minute $2 million smear campaign on Zohran, including direct mailers like this one that reads, a message from the black community to the Democratic Socialists of America: stop insulting our intelligence. Instead of claiming to speak for us and acting like you know what's best for us, try listening to us. So when we saw this story, we decided to do what most media outlets are unwilling to do. We looked into it. Who's behind this group? The About Us section on the National Black Empowerment Action Fund's website lists only 2 staff members, Darius Jones and Richard St. Paul. So their resumes: Darius Jones, who is a senior advisor, was the deputy national political director for Bloomberg 2020. He also spent a decade as national African American constituency director for AIPAC, founder and executive director of the National Black Empowerment Council, NBEC, and an organization, among other things, that helps forge stronger ties between the African American community and Israel. What about Richard St. Paul, who's also a senior advisor? Well, he's general counsel of the NBEC, and wouldn't you know it, currently serves as a member of the National Council for AIPAC. But will this angle of attack work? Even the Post is doubtful. During the Democratic primary for mayor, more black New Yorkers voted for Cuomo than Mamdani. But Mamdani won the primary, and Cuomo is now running on an independent ballot line in the general election. Black voters are also loyal Democrats, and recent polling shows a majority of them have abandoned Cuomo and shifted to Mamdani as the Democratic nominee running on the party's ballot line. Now, an update to this. I looked at the New York City's political transparency site to see the money going into the campaign, and there's 2 avenues here. They either haven't reported this ad and it's a 24-hour reporting deadline, which means they potentially could be violating New York election law, or this whole thing was a sham and they're not running the ad at all. But either way, it's not in the portal, and you have to report ads within 24 hours in its current state in this campaign. But Cenk, what do you make of this?
Yeah, it's a great job by Jordan on a lot of this. So first of all, like if you say, hey, there's a black conservative group that's worried about the economic policies of Democratic Socialists of America, it seems like a plausible cover story, and that's why it's a cover story. So, and then you find out the 2 guys running it work for AIPAC. Come on. Guys, really, come on. So, but now why do they do it so obviously and brazenly? Like, oh, we are a black group. We care a lot about black issues. We got our 2 AIPAC guys running it. Okay, the reason is because mainstream media never looks into it, never. It took us to look into it. And if you do look into it and you report it, they'll just come out and be like, no, that's, although your facts are true, you're an anti-Semite and no one should ever hear from you again. Cancel them forever, okay? Look, is AIPAC running this front group? Of course they are. Is it a total sham? Of course it is. And so, but what you might not know is there's tons of official and unofficial Israeli assets all over our politics and all over our media. So if you see someone who's a minority who is avidly and fervently defending Israel, especially on an issue that involves race in any way, shape, or form. Hey, is Israel being racist by saying that Palestinians cannot govern themselves? That they're the only people in the world who are so beneath everyone else that they can't handle sovereignty, that it would just be maniacs and try to kill every Israeli, right? And so whenever you have a problem like that, you send in a minority that has been funded by AIPAC their entire careers, and they'll be like, this is outrageous, and the real problem isn't that, the real problem is anti-Semitism. Everyone should be canceled, and I'm saying this as a black person, so it's okay. Yeah, it's a scam. Total, utter scam. And of course, the top scam is a little bit different than this, is when they get people from their own race to denounce that race, especially when it comes to Israel, right? So for a lot of, every once in a while, you'll see Muslims on Bill Maher's show or on mainstream media. Like 8 out of 10 times, it's a guy who's a stooge who's been paid by Israel his whole life. And he comes out and goes, you know, I'm a Muslim and I love Muslims, but they are deeply violent people who would like to murder all the Jews, so make sure you kill them first. That's just my Muslim opinion. Is it? Is it? So this front group is just propaganda for Israel, as is so many things you see. And the reason why you don't know that they're front groups is because mainstream media is sworn to secrecy on anything that is critical of Israel. So finding this out was easy. You just look on their website. Who's running it? Oh, 2 guys who work for AIPAC. Not a single mainstream media reporter could figure that out. You just all thought you were all idiots and suckers, and you thought, oh yeah, this must be a conservative black group that really hates minorities, or the left and the minorities in the left. They're not looking, they don't want to find out. They're not in the news business, they're in the covering up the news business, okay? So great job, Jordan. Now you know it's a scam. By the way, I can't wait for Tuesday. If Zohran wins, that means the Israeli lobby will have wasted $40 million on that race. Love to see it. Come on, Zohran. Forget everything else on that alone. Let's have an American win a race that actually is to represent other Americans and not a foreign government.
One final thing on this group that I found when I was looking into them. In the Jamal Bowman, George Latimer race, Jamal Bowman, of course, another target of AIPAC, the Democratic majority for Israel, all of this money trying to unseat him. This group also got involved in that race and endorsed George Latimer, and started taking shots at Jamal Bowman, to the confusion of a black Democratic group in Westchester County who will issue a statement. It's like, who even are you? You don't do any work here. Why are you weighing in on this race as an authority on black voters? So there's a whole lot more to this group, but time and time again, they will come in, try to act like whatever candidate or whatever policy that might be critical of Israel. What they try to do is come in and try to divide people based on matters of race at the behest of the pro-Israel lobby. And it's sad, but people are starting to see through it. All it took was a Google search, and I found this out.
Yeah, and last thing on it, guys, is that they almost never talk about Israel. They pretend they care about economic issues. They pretend they care about other issues, but they're totally funded by Israel, and they're all just trying to eliminate Israel's enemies, by the way, on the left and the right. So in this case, this is a conservative black group pretending to care about black people when in reality it's run by AIPAC. In the Kentucky race for Tom Massey or the Georgia race for Marjorie Taylor Greene, they'll be like, they'll do something also over the top. Oh, we're hicks and rednecks, and we say real MAGA loves Israel. I mean, your prices or something, inflation, yeah. But Israel, remember Israel, okay? We see you. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.